Broadcasting live from the Business RadioX studio, it's time for the GNFCC 400 Insider. Connect, build, and grow with the Greater North Fulton Chamber of Commerce.
Hello, and welcome to the GNFCC 400 Insider, the monthly radio show and podcast presented by the Greater North Fulton Chamber. I'm Callie Boatwright, President and CEO of the GNFCC. Today, we're celebrating our 2021 Women Influencing Business Award winners. These outstanding women were chosen from nearly 100 nominees by a committee of past award winners. And we have three of our amazing winners with us today. First, our 2021 Business Woman of Excellence Award winner is Linda Coyle. Linda is the Business Development Officer with LGE Community Credit Union. And the award that Linda received is actually the Woman of Excellence who transforms plans into action, obstacles into opportunities, and challenges into successes. She motivates her colleagues to bring the best performance and mentors emerging talent. Linda is a respected leader in her industry who inspires other women, including me, all across the region. Welcome, Linda.
Thank you so much, Callie.
Next, our Rising Star Award winner is Miss Amy Bell, Vice President, Georgia Architecture for Goodwyn Mills and Cawood. The Rising Star Award is presented annually to a female who demonstrates the qualities of enthusiasm, tenacity, and a strong work ethic, and who is actively engaged in leadership roles in the workplace and in the community. Welcome, Amy.
Hello.
And finally, our Nonprofit Woman of Excellence Award winner is Miss Holly Ranney, President and co-founder of Sunshine on a Rainy Day. This award welcomes a woman who has distinguished herself from other nonprofit organizations, from her profession, and in her community. Thank you so much for being here, Holly.
Thanks for having me.
So, ladies, it is incredible to have you all sitting here with me, and I appreciate it so much. You all are outstanding in your own fields, but also bring so much to our community and to the region as a whole. I think the best thing to do is to start out just hearing a little bit about your background, what led to your career, and what you do now. And I think I'm going to start with our Rising Star. Amy, why don't you tell us a bit about yourself?
Hey, thanks, Callie. Well, I must say that I'm a tomboy at heart. So from building forts in the woods and helping my dad build a swimming pool, screen porch, and all the way to my mother who used to adore house plan magazines. I think I grew up with architecture in my blood. I just didn't quite know it yet. So that coupled with the love of arts and math led me to a path and a career on the architecture. And I love dealing with people throughout my youthful careers, I would say, as I needed gas money driving around the state. And so I fell in love with people, and I knew that I had to combine all these things together. So that really, truly led me to architecture and being able to help my community. So that's me.
And we're glad that it did. I know that you've been engaged in many different things. I've not heard tomboy related to you before, so that's always a good thing to have in my back pocket. How about you, Linda? Tell us a little bit about your background and what led to your career.
Thank you. And Callie, I know we all feel this way. Thank you so much for this recognition, especially just in our community with the type of women that we all have the honor of working with. It really was very nice. But I have a sort of a zigzaggy path in that I fell in love with the English language at a young age and thought, well, all I can do is teach. That's all you can do with that. So I became a high school English teacher and enjoyed that. And then just made a change. I decided I really wanted to be out of the school system. It's funny because I keep getting involved with the school system now, but it's different when you're volunteering and not there. But it's decided to break into the business world, and that was a little bit of a scary jump, but did that. And when I thought, okay, what do I know? What can I do? And it was really just that ability to connect people and talk to people. And once I knew I could learn something, I could sell it if I could just learn a product or whatever it might be. So I was actually at a chamber event with Cobb County that I met my current boss. And it was like someone wrote up a job for me, everything I could ever want. And so that led me to LGE Community Credit Union and business development with them.
Well, and I know that you're highly engaged here at GNFCC and with a number of other organizations, as you mentioned, the school system. So I know as a teacher, you were a mentor full time because you did that on a daily basis, but we're glad that you're mentoring women in the capacity you're doing now. So last but not least, Holly, you have had a varied background as well. Tell us a little bit about your background and what you do today.
Right. And thanks again too for having us. It's an honor to be sharing these awards with everybody. In my background was I graduated from college with a furniture and design degree and was hired straight out of college for a large retailer, moved down here to Atlanta and worked for them for a long time, traveling all over doing product development. My husband and I got married about 11 years ago, and we decided we were inspired by a church sermon to use your networks and resources to help others. He was in construction and I was in design. So we decided to kind of use those resources to help others, and we decided to help children with special needs.
So all three of you women have obviously been awarded and designated from the region, from the chamber, but you all have special skills and gifts that you bring to your current jobs. I want to talk just a little bit about the companies themselves. Holly, we'll start with you in this particular aspect. Tell us a little bit about your Sunshine on a Rainy Day, and I will be the first to say that I have been in your shop, which supports that program more than a handful of times, and absolutely love what you're doing there as well. So could you just give us a brief company overview and maybe your involvement with the chamber here? I know you're a member. Yeah.
Yes. Sunshine on a Rainy Day renovates homes for children with special needs. So we specialize in wheelchair accessible bathrooms, in-home therapy rooms, and dream bedrooms. And we work within about 60 miles of Roswell. And it's been such a rewarding thing. We've done over 140 houses now, and everybody that we help just turns into a big family of ours. And we joined the North Fulton Chamber probably, I think, 2 years ago when we were opening our store, Sunny and Ranney, that benefits the charity. We really wanted to get more involved in the local area. We have a lot of, a big following all over on social media and stuff, but I think it's so important to surround yourselves around local businesses and donors and volunteers. So it's been great.
Well, you clearly did that since you've made such a big impression in what is really a short amount of time. And certainly seeing all of the children and the families that you've helped when you walk into your store and see that, I think is incredible. And I know before we close the show, I want you to give that address to everybody. So we'll hold on that.
Thank you.
Amy, how about Goodwyn, Mills, and Cawood? I know you guys do so much in the community as not just an architecture firm, but giving back. Tell us a little bit about GMC.
Absolutely. So GNFCC, we are one of the largest architecture and engineering firms in the Southeast. We have offices located throughout Alabama, Florida, Georgia, South Carolina, and Tennessee. So whether we're designing schools, parks, hospitals, or other commercial developments, or providing clean water, safe streets, and restoring resilient environments, we take great pride in serving our community through the transformative work that we do. I know that was a mouthful. So a little bit about how I became involved in the chamber. Well, being with such an awesome company and moving from Alabama, I was there for 10 years before I came to Georgia 5 years ago, and I knew that I needed to get plugged in somewhere. And so the Greater North Fulton Chamber was that plug-in for me. And so quickly after joining the chamber, I started getting involved with the Education Connection Committee. So that was fantastic. We did that a couple of years. I've done several Principal for a Days and some Next Gen Connects. And so you guys have been awesome to give us platforms that we can connect with other members and then also staff. So y'all have been awesome to us, and I can't thank you enough.
Oh, well, you're very kind. We feel the same way about Goodwyn, Mills, and Cawood. Linda, LGE, always a bright star in the community and involved. Tell us a little bit about you all and your involvement.
Thank you. LGE has been around 75 years this year. We're celebrating 75 years and a credit union. And I really, when I first took the job, I was like, all right, it's bank, what's going on? Can't be anything that different. And it was a great learning opportunity for me to learn the difference between the credit union and the bank. But that L stands for Lockheed. So it's a Lockheed, Georgia employee. And that's where we started. So we started out of Cobb County, but now if you just live or work in Cobb, Cherokee, Paulding, Fulton, or Bartow County, you could be a member of LGE. And the benefits are great. And the biggest benefit, and what I hear from people in the community all the time is, oh my God, I walk in and they know my name and they talk to me and they get to know me. And the credit union idea is people helping people. So we really take time with people to sit down. A lot of times we have to give the no answer if someone doesn't qualify for something, but we give a no, but here's how, or no, here's a plan. I think that makes a big difference. I'm really proud to be involved with a company that supports our community like we do. We have a foundation. Each year we give almost $200,000 back to the community. And the neat aspect I think about LGE is they allow the employees to vote on where the money is going to be dispersed. And so many employees have it deducted straight from their paycheck. We have events throughout the year, but you really feel connected to those charities. And then we have a big celebration. It's coming up in December where we have the big check moment and we give it to them, but everybody stands up and talks about, the difference that's going to make for their charity. It's bring your tissues to that breakfast.
That's
sure.
Actually a perfect segue. Although when you said everybody knows you're bringing me back to like the Cheers days and norms. So that's always a fun analogy. Linda, you have obviously accomplished so much in your career and your personal life. And you always make time to serve your community and seem to be able to balance it all. That's something that I've noticed. You are coming on to the board of the chamber in January. You've been involved as a diplomat. You've been involved in our leadership program, so many different ways. And we're not the only ones, right? You're engaged in so many other ways and in so many other organizations. But you always make that time, and balance is always key. And I think for women, one of the more difficult things that we have going for us that maybe not everybody does. If you could go back and give your younger self a piece of advice about all of this, what do you think that would be?
There's the key about all of this, right?
It is kind of all of this.
You're right. It's a lot. If I think about young Linda, I think I would wish I had given myself a break here and there. We are so hard on ourselves, and the insecure thoughts that come and, oh, did I do that the right way? And, oh, I need to do that, and making lists and trying to tackle everything. It took growth and probably some failure and growth from that failure to get to a point where I could say, okay, that's the best I can do. And I'm going to be nice to myself and know that's just what I did and move on. Because when I was younger, I seemed to beat myself up a lot. I'm definitely my own worst critic. And I wish I had spent that time feeding myself more positive thoughts so that you don't, you lose that time. You don't get it back, and nothing comes from the negative thoughts. So I think I would probably tell young Linda, aside from go take a lot of pictures before the wrinkles come, I would also tell her, give yourself a break. And, it's okay to be proud of what you're doing and relax a little bit.
Yeah. And I think giving ourselves grace, which we talked a lot during COVID about this. And I think that's probably one of the refreshing, if we really have to point out some positive things from all of this, that's one thing I think a lot of us have gotten better about. For the other women, how do you encourage and empower others? I think, Linda's talking about what she would go back and say to young Linda. But, we all have young Lindas in our lives. We all have folks that we mentor and train and volunteer with. And so how do you encourage and empower other women within your own organizations? Anybody want to jump in on this one?
I can.
Okay, Holly.
Because I can relate to young Linda.
Right.
I am proud to say, at Sunshine on a Rainy Day, we have the majority of people are females working for our staff. So I can relate to a lot of it. And again, like what she said, I wish, looking back, we've spent so much time and not taking a break. My husband and I just bought an RV just to force ourselves to leave and do something and not just focus on work all the time. And I just had a meeting this morning with our girls, and one of them is our construction project manager. She's a little redhead, and you can't mess with her. She gets everything done and does such a great job. And I just had a conversation with them on just don't get burnt out. Please communicate. Talk to us. What do you need help with? We have so many resources and people to help you. Don't get burnt out. I need you healthy, happy, and just, let's keep going, and don't get stressed, because stress can really just take it down.
Yeah. And I think that burnout's a real thing. And certainly we have to caution ourselves against it. Amy, how about you? What do you do to encourage and empower the women I know that you have looking up to you within your own organization?
Well, I think first and foremost, I treat everyone equally, no matter whether they're male or female. We have what we call PDPs, it's our personal development plan. So I personally have one-on-ones with each staff member who is in our architecture team. And so this helps me understand where their passions are, which I think is vitally important, because if I have an 80-20 rule, you can ask anybody in my organization, everybody has an 80-20 rule, but I'll tell you what mine is. If I can give folks 80% of happiness, in terms of if I can position their jobs and gear them toward their passions of where they are the most excited and the most inspired. And then 20% of the stuff of your job that you just have to do, right? That nobody really loves to do, but it's an essential tool that you just have to do. Then everybody's going to be successful. So once I understand that and we have our one-on-ones, I have to support them. And so it's amazing when you get everybody humming on the same page and everybody is in their own lane and doing things that they're incredibly passionate about. So definitely, number one, treat everyone equally, and then having that personal time with people to, number one, hear them and understand them, and then put them in the place to be successful.
That's awesome. Yeah. And I think that goes back to Holly's point about communication, right? So it's communicating and then understanding, taking it even a step further than that. Linda, it's always fun to back clean up here.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
Any other additional advice?
I'm stealing the 80-20 rule.
That's great. I do too.
I like that a lot, Amy.
Feel free, please.
Okay. Thank you. I don't know if it's anything, especially different to add, but other than, when I look at the younger women at LGE, I think, men and women together, amazing, but there is something about a group of women working together and doing it successfully that I think you can't stop us. We can do anything when we build each other up and find the best in each other. And, there is something about, motherhood and sharing that. And when you have people that are working together, to know their whole person is so important. And we all bring those people with us to work, right? The kids may not come, but they're in our hearts and they're on our minds. So just to acknowledge that, to allow people to, mention something about whatever's happening at home and support them there and then care about that and follow up. I think, maybe that gets people more to the 80% when they feel, people know me here and, they don't just expect me to come in and sit and do my work, but, they really build that relationship. So I see these young girls and I any good book I'm reading about women, I'm like, oh, let me tell you this. And here's a secret. And here's a tip. Here's something, and go for it and take those risks and go, you're going to fail, but it doesn't matter. Go, go, go. Because I wish I had a little bit more cheerleading along the way. I was a little clueless there for a while. And once I had it, it was like, oh, this is great. Somebody on your team and cheering you on. You can, really go places. So, I just think, everything is about relationships, but especially in your own office, on your own team, building each other up is so important.
And I love the fact that you're talking about the whole person, right? The person, they aren't just the work person or the home person. It is the whole person that you have to understand and support. So I think that's a big piece of that as well. All right. Well, I appreciate all of that. You guys have got me thinking of a Margaret Mead quote that I had on my wall in high school and college, and I'm going to do a horrible job at this because I haven't thought about it in a long time, but it says, never underestimate the abilities of a small group of dedicated, in this case, women. Indeed, it's the only group that's ever changed the world. And I think that's absolutely what we're talking about, right? People who are passionate about other people in this particular instance. So Holly, in your role, obviously different than the other two as a nonprofit leader, you're already leaving a huge impression in North Fulton, and beyond in that 60-mile radius. But if you could be remembered for one thing, what do you think that would be? I mean, no pressure. That is a horror.
I know I'm going to probably give a generic answer, so I apologize.
No.
but I have to say that it's not just myself, it's my husband who's been right by my side the entire time. And we kind of lean on each other's strengths and weaknesses and really just building like Sunshine on a Rainy Day and Sunny and Rainy as our legacy for our family and everything. So I think that's really just the whole impact that we have is how much more can we impact and how can we influence other people to do the same impact, whether it's what we're doing or anyone else. So
and the thing I love about Sunshine on a Rainy Day is that you're leaving that legacy, but you're allowing each of those individuals that you changed their lives to leave their own impactful legacy. And so I think that's it's paying it forward, right? You're giving people the opportunity to be able to make their own impression to the world. And I think that's one of the most wonderful things you can do. Okay, so now I'm getting teared up. Amy, we're gonna pivot to you so I don't start crying. Obviously, we've talked about you are a tomboy. I don't believe that, but I can see where you're coming from. You're an inspiration to all people. I don't want to take away from the fact that obviously this is a woman's award, though. You are an inspiration to young women, really in a career that's pretty male dominated, in all honesty. And I think math and science is beginning to go the other way, but certainly for many years it has been a male dominated industry. What do you think is the most important lesson that that you're passing along that would encourage a successful woman in architecture?
Oh gosh, the most important lesson, I think, truly has to be if you believe it, you can achieve it. So anything that we do in life, to me, is more of a mental game rather than a physical game. As soon as we can flip that switch and have that goal and drive to that goal, then you can get it. And so that's what I want to leave everybody with. The most important lesson is the power of the mind. And if you can believe it, you can achieve it. And that's true with anything, whether it's a profession or a physical fitness or, I mean, you name it. It's not just business, but anything is most 100% mental.
I feel like you're a coach right now. I think you're right. I mean, I feel like we're in a football huddle, and I certainly can see that would be a huge piece of it. And the power of the mind is great indeed. All right. We are wrapping up, and I want to give everybody an opportunity to kind of go back and circle around to the answer or to the question I asked Linda at the beginning of this. There are, all of us are at different points in our careers and individually, but we've all had life lessons that we've picked up along the way, or great advice maybe from other women, right? I thrive on that. So anything that you can share with our listeners, obviously male and female, that ties back to life lessons or advice maybe that you've received throughout the years.
You want us to jump in?
I kind of think
okay.
Yes.
We'll jump in.
That'd be great. Linda, you start.
I have the answer that I would immediately say when I think of that is don't stop learning. You can change, I really wanted to be a Broadway star. I have no talent.
Do it, Linda.
I had no talent, but I didn't even try. And really the other night I thought, maybe I'll take a tap class. But I mean, there's no shame in not knowing something. And so jump in, try, ask questions, be curious. Just don't be afraid. But when I listen to Amy and Holly talk, I'll tell you, this is my other answer, is you can hear the passion in their voices. Mm-hmm. And that is so inspiring. The Chambers I loved the summit so much this year after the awards. I've referred to those notes so many times.
And for our listeners, the awards program was a luncheon, which it always has been. But this year, we added a women's summit as an afternoon program with different seminars. Actually, Holly was one of our speakers at our luncheon as well. But it allowed women to learn from each other and spend time really not just networking, but really learning great life lessons that we're talking about right now. So sorry, Linda.
No, that was great.
Yeah.
It's just the Chamber has given me opportunities to hear. I always enjoy the speakers and, so many different topics, and it's great. But I loved when Shan Cooper told us a few years ago to have your own board of directors, not the people that are going to say, great job, Linda, you look great, you did everything wonderful, but the people that are going to say, hey, I don't know that you were so prepared. You can do better than that. And she even took it to, should you be wearing that in this meeting? And of course she said it in the right way. She's Shan Cooper, but
right.
I think just that idea of really supporting each other. You hear people, whether they call it your tribe, you need to have that, or your board of directors, whatever it may be. But I would say that's going to help you get to that place where you've got that passion in your voice. I'm sure Holly can tell you there had to be some bumps along the way as you figured out
a lot
how to help. It just blows my mind. Did you say 140 homes? It blows my mind. But that passion in her kept her going.
Right.
So, and then if you have some people around you that help fuel that passion,
and not having those yes women in this particular instance, right? So people who will hold you accountable, value you, but hold you accountable and want to make you better. I think that's a huge piece of it. That's a great piece of advice.
I think I had like 14 pieces of advice in one, but that's what my brain does.
But it was all good. It was all good. We're all listening. So I think that's great. Holly, she kind of kicked off to you. So I'm going to...
passion is definitely important. I think what I've learned and a lot recently is just staying humble and learning your strengths and weaknesses and not to be afraid of your weaknesses, because if you you beat yourself down on certain things, or you spend too much time on things that you're not good at, you're taking away from your, what you could really be good at. And, I have a lot of weaknesses. I mean, I don't like spreadsheets. I don't like managing anyone. Like I can go on and on, but I also, but I love talking about the charity, fundraising, marketing, just getting stories out of the families. Like that's my strength. So I'll hand over my spreadsheets. Like somebody else is doing it.
Somebody else may have that strength.
And I'm much happier. I can, my mind is free now, and I have the ability to really just go on my strength.
I think that's great. I think we do learn things from our weaknesses, right? And sometimes it's that they are indeed our weaknesses, and we should probably find someone else to do those. Right. But yeah, I think that's a great, and I like your stay humble too. So, especially since all of you have won this distinguished award, none of you are the type of person who I would think would need to say that, because you are very humble people. Amy, how about you? Life lessons or advice from other women that you value?
Well, first off, I want to just go off script a little bit and just say to Holly, words of wisdom. I had a great boss and mentor. I asked him from day one, like, how did you do this? And trying to get some own perspective. And he said, well, I tell you what, Amy, what I didn't know how to do or what I didn't like doing, I hired people to do. And so we really should not be scared of our weaknesses. We should be looking to fill our teams and our inner circles, our outer circles with all those people who shine in those areas where either we don't like or we just aren't good at. And it's okay to not be good at something. So huge shout out to you on that one, Holly. You were spot on. But so life lesson along the way, I would say to support each other and don't be afraid to fail. I saw a great meme this morning, so I clipped it because I wanted to share it with you guys. I thought it was very prominent, at least for my world right now. It says success comes from experience, and experience comes from failure. If you're not successful yet, then maybe you haven't failed enough. Wow. So I conclude with, don't be scared to fail. It makes us successful.
I like that. It sounds like a great coffee mug.
Amen.
Amen. Mm-hmm. Sounds like a coffee mug we all need right there. That's awesome, ladies. You continue to inspire all of us, certainly me among those. And so most importantly, we need to know how we can find you, right? So that if we have listeners who want to connect with you and learn more wonderful nuggets or do business with you, that they can do so. So I'm going to start with Holly. Holly, can you tell us your website, social media? Sure. Where can we find you and Sunshine on a Rainy Day?
Yeah, and since we're on the radio, I have to spell it out because it's Sunshine on a Ranney, Ranney day, and then Sunny and Ranney store. I might have kind of translated my husband's name differently from what he was raised as for the creative side of it. But we have a website, we have Facebook, and we have Instagram.
Awesome. Perfect. Linda, how about LGE?
Well, we are at lgeccu.org, and we also have Instagram. A lot of people looking at the now. Ever since we got Dansby Swanson as our spokesperson, our hits have gone up.
I'm going to join your Instagram now.
Dansby is very pretty.
We have enjoyed his success, that's for sure.
Oh my gosh, that's great. Amy, how about you in Goodwyn, Mills, and Cawood?
Well, our web address is www.gmc, like the trucker cars or Georgia Military College, all of which none of what we do, network.com. That was one thing coming to Georgia, but everybody said, oh, so you're with GMC, the Georgia Military College. No, I'm not. And no, I don't sell trucks and cars. It's GMC is in architecture and engineering.
That's fabulous.
So that's how you guys can find us. We're on all of the socials. I can't say that I personally handle those, but we're on all of them, so you can certainly find us there. And if y'all want to find me personally, I have a LinkedIn account, so y'all please shout out and let's get connected.
That sounds fabulous. And of course, we'll have information on our Business RadioX site as well as the Chamber site. I want to thank all of my guests for joining me today. Ladies, this has been one of my favorite radio shows ever and an absolute pleasure. So thank you all very, very much. I also want to thank all of our listeners for joining us on the GNFCC 400 Insider presented by the Greater North Fulton Chamber. To listen to this show again or to hear any of our previous episodes, please visit GNFCC400insider.com or any of your favorite podcast platforms. To find out more about our Women Influencing Business Award winners and to learn more about the Greater North Fulton Chamber events and programs, visit GNFCC.com. Until next time, I'm Callie Boatwright, and this has been the GNFCC 400 Insider on Business RadioX.